So it's hard to reach the Naga homelands, and that was also known to the British. When the British had their British Empire in India and Myanmar, they had occupied part of Naga homeland, but not all of it. It was maybe 1/3, because the Nagas live on the higher, like on the ridges of the mountains, and that was not easy for the British to conquer. So most of Naga homelands have been free from the occupation that the rest of India and parts of Naga and parts of Myanmar suffered. So when the British left after the Second World War, and it will be clear in the documentary that the Nagas fought alongside the British against the Japanese, that is here, Kohima. So after the British left, the Nagas proclaimed their independence and even telegraphed it to the United Nations. That's one of the mysteries that the world as a whole never understood, that from that moment on the Nagas were an independent country. And that's also the problem, because the way the British neglected after they left made it possible for India to invade Nagaland with 200,000 soldiers. And from that moment on, the Nagas had to fight to get the Indians out of their country, because after being occupied by the British, the Nagas were again occupied, but this time by India. And India played the same tactics as the British, divide and rule. They still do that up to date, and they still have a draconian law that makes it possible for Indian soldiers to be in the Naga homelands and just shoot to kill without any accountability. So the main objective to create this documentary was to make clear to the world that the Nagas are living in their own country but are being occupied by India, and India playing this idea that somehow the Naga homelands are part of the Indian Union. So yeah, that's important to me to make clear to the outside world what actually is happening there. Which is a lot of massacres, 75 years of fierce fighting. Now we are in a second ceasefire, there are talks, but India is backtracking on some commitments they make. They will not allow the Nagas to have their own constitution, which they had for so long, their own flag. Yeah, so that's all very nasty, and the world should know that India has no business there, and the international community should somehow intervene or help the Nagas in their struggle against the Indian occupiers.